The third theory that I want to challenge is Freud's psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis is harmful as a therapeutic theory because it is a deterministic model. It tells you that trauma is inevitable through childhood. So it creates helplessness and powerlessness. You don't have any power over your life. It takes the power to affect and influence your own life, your own decisions, and it blames everything on childhood or blames everything on the unconscious mind. It looks at trauma as though it's too complex, and it's so complex that you need a therapy to unpack it. You're not able to understand your own trauma. Your trauma is unconscious and it's situated in a place where you can't even understand it. And so healing is then inaccessible. You can't access healing because you need a therapist to do that. So it makes you rely on a system. It makes you reliant rather than independent. The other major issue with it is that it provides a context for perversions such as pedophilia and incest. It is a very disturbing theory when you think about it. There is no real evidence for his ideas about childhood and what happens in childhood and about the desires that children have. So it is completely baseless and it can lead to explaining very disturbing perversion. And that is why I cannot agree to it, because its foundations are corrupt. And the result of psychoanalysis is that it leads to blaming other people, it leads to lack of accountability over yourself and lack of power over your own life and your own decisions, and it leads to even more trauma. Not every person has had trauma in childhood. Some people have had a healthy and happy childhood, but this theory makes everyone traumatized. And so any difficulty you have in adulthood is related back to childhood. But not everyone has had a traumatic childhood. Mistakes will be made. As a parent, that doesn't mean that those mistakes have such an impact on children. Children are resilient. They're not as feeble as is made out in psychoanalysis, that anything small can impact, that children are affected regardless. And the truth is, children are affected by too much goodness and too much happiness and too much joy and too much of getting what they want in life. That has a negative impact on children. And if you look at children who have had tough childhood, in the sense maybe they were deprived financially, that can create positive characteristics in people. It can make them more driven, it can make them more motivated in life, it can make them more compassionate for other people's problems. Having too much happiness can lead to becoming entitled. It's not as simple as blaming everything on childhood, because we also collect trauma when we become adults. Trauma is not just it does not just occur in childhood. So it's kind of an incomplete theory in that sense. So this was some of the breakdown of the theories that I thought were the most important to mention. And I think in the next session, what I will cover is what are more empowering theories and ideologies that we can subscribe to that will lead to a more functioning society and functioning families, and something that encourages you to be more healed.